So hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I got off work early and it's raining right now. I think it's gonna thunderstorm a little bit. So I decided to come talk to you guys to talk about while I'm folding laundry, because I have a lot of laundry. I am still packing. I'm in my room. Right now I'm packing my army stuff and doing laundry. Well, folding laundry and doing laundry. I'm gonna put it in the container, put all my military stuff in the container, and then the girl stuff will go in the suitcase right behind me that we're taking with us. But I decided to come to talk to you guys. I really want to, little story time about my pregnancy with my twins, because I know a lot of people, I think it's like the pregnant season right now, or like the twin season. But I come to tell you guys my story, so it's like a little story time why I just do laundry. So I thought that would be like a good idea, get to know me and the family a little bit more. Nothing wrong with that. So I'm gonna talk to you guys like this. So a little backstory about me. So I had my first son. I say first son. I had my son because I only got one son. I did want twin boys at one time, but God blessed me with twin girls. So, all right, let me get right into it. So, I had my first child. I had my son Isaiah. When I was in college, my junior year, I had my son, and then that's when I commissioned and graduated from college. The next year. And he was 1 by the time I graduated. Well, going on 1. Yeah, when I graduated. So I had my son. He's now 6 years old. So it's like a big gap between the girls and him. It's like a 6-year gap. Not too bad. Because I didn't want to have, kids like back to back. And I'm trying to like get my career started. I'm trying to go on and continue my finding a job, because I didn't know if I wanted to do active duty or reserve at the time, because I didn't want to leave my baby. But I had to do what I had to do. A lot of people thought just because you go to college, you're gonna drop out, or you're not gonna finish school, or you're gonna have another baby after the baby you just had. That wasn't me. I wasn't gonna do that, because I was like, I need to support my son, and it's my first child, and I want to do it right. And, I had so many big plans that I want to do. So me and his father end up staying together, still together, 4 years strong, about to be 5 coming up. So we had my son when I was in college. I commissioned, and I had to leave for about 6 months. So his daddy took care of him at the time. So that was it. That was a little backstory, quick backstory. Moving forward, we moved. Our first duty station was Kentucky, right here, Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And we've been here for going on 4 years. And we decided to have more kids. So at the time, we planned it. We planned on having, more kids. I wanted a big family. He wanted like a little family, but I want a big family. So we planned to have our next child. So when I found out that I was pregnant, because we've been trying, and I was like getting discouraged. I was like, it's not happening. I wasn't getting results. So a month passed, nothing. And I was like, what is going on? Is it me? All that stuff. But I just relaxed, and I just went to work, got my mind together and everything. And then the next couple weeks, we took a pregnancy test, and it said I was pregnant. So I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. Let's go make sure, is it true? Because, some pregnancy tests, sometimes give you false information. So I went to the doctor, And I just wanted to make sure that, you know, your girl was pregnant. So it came back, and, you know, first they did like the ultrasound on your stomach. Nothing was shown on the ultrasound. So they was like, we have to do the vaginal ultrasound. You know, they put up there and, you know, scan it and see if the baby is in there and stuff. So once we did that, you know, we took the P test and everything, came back positive. Now we have to make sure everything is good. So, like I said, the one on your stomach, didn't see anything. So when we actually did the vaginal one, she turned the screen her way, and I thought something was like, thought something was wrong. I thought she was seeing something, or, you know, something was wrong because her eyes got big and everything. And she was like, does twins run in your family? And I was like, yes, I'm a twin, you know, but I have a brother. I don't have a sister. So I was like, yeah, I'm a twin. You know, my dad's a twin. You know, goes on generation. So I was like, okay. So she was like, do you want to know how many babies in there? I was like, how many babies? Is it more than 2? Because I don't know if I could do 3. I know one of my friends had 3 at the same time. I don't know. But I was like, yes, I wanted to know. So she turned the screen around and she was like, you have 2 babies in there, so you have twins. And I was like, oh wow, are you sure? I was like, are you sure? So she printed me off the little the ultrasound picture of the girls, and I was like, wow, I have 2 babies in there. And God blessed me because both of the babies was in different sex, but I was still high risk, but they had separate sex, so they was getting their own nutrition and everything. And I was like, woo, because I read, no, girl gotta do her research. So I read that if the babies are in the same sac, then, you know, that's more of a high risk on the baby, and, you know, one baby may not get more nutrition, you know, stuff for the other baby. So I was like, thank you. I'm happy they're in their separate sacs. They're doing good. They're growing and everything. So I found out that I was pregnant. I forgot to tell you guys. I found out I was pregnant when I was 6 weeks. And I was like, well, we was trying to take a pregnancy test. It came back negative. So I was like, maybe during that time when I stopped, that we conceived. So I was like, oh, okay. So I'm 6 weeks. So the girls was due on their original due date was June 2nd, but they came May 2nd. So they came a month early, which is not bad. It's bad, but not bad. Both of them, well, Emma came out first, and she was 4 pounds and 2 ounces. So she was the smallest baby. And then Ella came out 4 pounds, 12 ounces. So yeah, but rewind. I missed something that I want to tell you guys. So while I was pregnant, with the twins, I was eating regular, but, some of the symptoms was like really, really different for me. I couldn't walk as far. I couldn't eat like salad, my normal things that I eat during the day, peanuts or stuff like that. But I noticed that if I don't eat, I get nauseous, I get bad headaches, I was getting pains. So I just stopped what I was doing and I started eating like different types of foods. Like, I started eating like pickles, pineapples, like different mixture of foods, and I wouldn't be nauseous. Like, I was like, wow. So I just eat anything I want to eat. But like spicy things, I couldn't eat. Hot sausages, I love hot sausages. I couldn't eat those. Pickled eggs, I love pickled eggs. Can eat those. So all the foods that I ate when I was pregnant with my son, I couldn't eat with my girls. I had to eat more healthier, like more fruits, veggies, No seafood, because they didn't like seafood for some reason. They didn't like seafood, but now since I had them, I enjoy my seafood, you know. So that was really, really different. Like I said, I couldn't walk. So as you know, I'm in the Army, and you have to walk to where you need to, where you need to go, where you need to be, or you can drive. But some areas you can't drive; you have to get out and walk. So, at the time, my soldiers were deployed at the time, and I was really commander. I didn't really have a lot of soldiers. I started off with like 50 soldiers, and I ended up with like 10 soldiers at the most. So that was really, really good on my end. They came back after I had my baby. They came back in November. So I had the girls in May. Yeah, they came back in November from deployment, and they was like, "Oh my goodness, how's the kids? You didn't even look like you had kids or anything," because I wanted to. It's like I wasn't hiding it from them or anything, but I don't like a lot of people in my business. So, during the time they were deployed, and some of them knew I was pregnant. Some of them didn't know I was pregnant, because I don't blast my, information out to everybody. I keep my circle really, really small, and I keep it really, really small. So, during the time of my pregnancy, I can say that I had a fairly decent pregnancy. The reason why they came early is because, like I said, I couldn't walk. I tried to walk, and it's like when I was walking, they was like pushing down, and I could feel it at the bottom of my stomach. So I know I'm everywhere, you guys. So when I was walking, it was just so much pressure. I felt like I could feel, one of their heads, down there. And so, I was like, something telling me just to lay down and relax. So I started going home at 12 o'clock every day. So just relax and, take a nice hot bubble bath and, eat some good food and just, relax, get my back rubbed by my husband and stuff, get my feet rubbed and everything. And one of the girls flipped around. Like, I felt like a big knot in your stomach, and it just turned. So Ella flipped around, and when she flipped around, it was so much pain. I mean, my back started hurting, my stomach started hurting. I tried to, wiggle and wobble on the ball. Nothing was working. So I was like, okay, all right, none of this stuff works. So let me just get in a hot tub. So I got in a hot tub and just, laid there in the hot tub and calm down and put some relaxing music on and everything. And after that, that calmed down the pressure a little bit and everything. So I got out the tub, and I got in the bed, laid down and everything like that. So then after that, a couple days later, the pressure came back. So I was like, all right, let me go to the, labor and delivery in the hospital and see if they can give me, medicine or anything like that. Because they did give me a steroid shot 2 weeks prior to the pain started coming. So they gave me steroid shots just to make sure I keep the babies in there longer. Because at that time, I was 32 weeks and 3 days, if I'm correct. Yeah, I was 32 weeks and 3 days. Or 31 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, I was 31 weeks and like 2 days. So they gave me a steroid shot to keep the girls in there longer. I guess that would keep them in there longer. And that's the only shot they gave me. They gave me right in my butt cheek. So I did one in my arm, but it was like, no, it goes in your butt cheek. I said, okay, fine. So a couple weeks went by. So like I said, I went to labor and delivery. They gave me another steroid shot just to keep the babies in there. And then they said that, they asked me, they said, did anybody check you see if you were dilated or anything? I was like, no, nobody checked me anything. That day I just came from an appointment from the high-risk doctor. I told them about my pains and everything like that, and they told me just to go to labor and delivery to see if, everything is fine and everything. Because Fort Campbell Hospital on post, they do not deliver twins or triplets or, you know, on up. So they can't deliver multiple babies at Nashville. So if you're in the Army and you have multiples, they will ship you to Nashville Hospital, which was an awesome hospital. I really appreciate everybody there. They treated you with love. They checked up on you every hour. It was awesome. It was awesome there. So back where I was at. So I went to labor and delivery. As soon as I got in there, I told them what was going on. They put me on the machine, make sure they hear both baby's heartbeat and my heartbeat as well. Then a doctor came in, a female doctor, came in, and she asked me, you know, has anybody checked you or anything like that? I was like, no. So she said she's going to check me. So she checked me, and she said I was 4 centimeters dilated, and I was like, wow, okay, I believe that, because the pains was really, you know, was really crucial at, you know, off and on. So I was like, okay, so do I get to go home? Because, you know, if you have in like one baby, oh, you go home, honey. If you like 4 centimeters dilate, all right, I see you back when, you know, get a little closer. And I was like, okay, they're gonna send me home, you know, I'm gonna get to go back home and, you know, lay down and relax. The lady came back, she said, no, you're not going anywhere. I get your keys and everything to your husband and everything, and we're gonna transport you down to Nashville Hospital. And I was like, what? I wasn't expecting this. I had to go pick up my son from school, and you know, I had to do all this other stuff. So I wasn't really expecting that, but everything worked out. Thank God, everything worked out. My husband came, pick up the keys, pick up the car, pick up my stuff that I had, and pick up the baby and everything. So everything worked out pretty good. I was happy everything worked out. And my NCOs was very helpful as well. I had this one NCO named Sergeant Steve-O. His name is Sergeant Stevenson, but I call him Sergeant Steve-O. That's the little nickname. He was very, very helpful. He has 2 kids of his own, and his wife. Both of them were very helpful. I really appreciated them a lot. They helped me throughout my pregnancy, helped me, you know, with my son, because at the time, you know, we don't have family down here, and it was just me and my husband and my son. And so Sergeant Steve-O asked me, hey, do you want me to come to the hospital and, you know, watch your son while, you know, my husband and me are in there delivering the baby? And I was like, you know, that was awesome that he asked, because I didn't want to just leave him out there with like a nurse or anything. I wanted to leave him out there with somebody, you know, that I know and that I trust, and, you know, I worked with him for a long period of time. So he came to the hospital and he watched my son for me, and that was awesome. I really appreciate that. So as soon as I got in the hospital, so they transported me to Nashville. I know I'm all over the place, you guys. So they transported me to Nashville Hospital. I was in the hospital for about 2 days before I delivered, because they gave me actually another steroid shot before I was transported, and they kept the babies in there for 1 or 2 days. And they also put a tube, I forgot what you call it. They put a tube so you can use the bathroom, because I wasn't able to get up. I forgot what it's called. If I remember, I'll let you guys know. But they put a tube up in your, you know, vagina area, and so you can use the bathroom, because, you know, you couldn't get up and you couldn't, you know, move around like you usually do. And then the second day I was in the hospital, they gave me an epidural because the pains was getting a little worse. I was feeling it. So they gave me epidural, and this is the first time I had this type of epidural. So I know you get the one, you know, you lean over, put your arms down, and you crouch over, and they stick needle in there. That's the same thing they did, same thing, but he gave me a button. I didn't have a button last time with my son. It's like he gave me a button where if I feel pain, I could just get more of the epidural. And I thought that was pretty neat, but I didn't want to overdose myself. But I like that. It worked a lot. I didn't feel no pain. Everything was numb from the waist down. So the second day, epidural, still, not feeling no pain or anything. Everything was still good. By then I was like 8 centimeters dilated. So they start prepping the OR room. Is it an OR or ER? ER. I think it's ER. Yeah, they start prepping the emergency room up and everything. And I thought, I was going to deliver in the room, like, the normal people with single mothers deliver in the room where you're at already. But they said no, since I'm having multiples, I have to go to the emergency room, the ER room with, multiple people, multiple, doctors and everything. And so I was like, okay, this is, a little different. I was nervous because I want everything to go smooth. I was getting a little frustrated because I didn't know what to expect. So I went in there strong. We prayed before we went in there, and I had a doctor and I had a midwife, and then also it was like 10 people. So it was like 5 people for this baby, 5 people for that baby. So when the baby, babies come out, they can just grab the babies and everything. So they had everything separated on one side and the other side. They had the little table out for me in the middle, like you see on TV. They had that table out there with a big light. I started getting nervous after I seen that because, I'm watching all these movies and all these videos and everything. So we went in. My husband was with me and everything. We went in. He had his, his little scrubs and everything on, a little outfit they give him to put on, wash his hands and everything. He was recording, so as I'm talking, I'm gonna be putting like pictures up so you guys can see. So we went in there. I thought we was gonna be there a little longer, but we was only in there for like 10 minutes at the most, at tops. I'm grateful and happy everything went smooth. So like I said, Emma came out first. Soon as I laid down and they prepped me and everything, like 3 or 4 pushes, Emma came on out, and then the doctors got her on this side, and then the next baby, Ella, she was breached, so she came out feet first. The doctor tried to turn her around and everything, but she was like, if she doesn't turn around, do you want to do a C-section? Or if she doesn't turn around, do you want me to try to pull her out? So I was like, I don't want to have a C-section because that turnaround with that C-section is pretty rough. From the videos I've been watching for like other birth videos, and then afterwards, that little scar is like, that people say is pretty rough because you can't do as much sit-ups like we have to do in the Army. So I didn't want that. So I was like, no, I just pull her out, make sure that she's okay and everything like that. So she pulled her out. She came out they came out a minute apart. So I was like, wow, okay, you did this like in 30 seconds, 60 seconds. And I was like, wow, okay. So they both came out, went to their separate doctors. She made sure I wasn't torn anything. Awesome job. I wasn't torn. Thank God. Because I tore with Isaiah and I didn't tear with them. So it was very, very, very shocking. So after that, they sewed me up and everything, get me back right and everything. So at first I didn't hear any crying. Because how babies come out and they start crying. I didn't hear any crying, so I started freaking out a little bit. And I was like, is the baby's okay? Is the baby's okay? Like, what's going on? Because, I came 2 weeks early from the actual when twins supposed to be born at 35 weeks or more. So I came out 33 weeks and 5 days. So I was like, is the baby's okay? I didn't hear anything. And then they was like, we giving them a little bit of oxygen and they're breathing, they're doing good. So then after they gave them a little bit of oxygen, they started crying. So I was like, okay, thank God. Okay, both of them are doing good. Both of them are breathing. All right, good. So then after that, since they came early, they had to go to the NICU for nutrition and make sure they was feeding good, make sure they were feeding their bottles and everything. So I was very, very grateful. Woo! about that. It's bringing back memories. I was very, very grateful. I was very blessed with 2 healthy baby girls, and I was very thankful. So after that, after they came, I stayed in a hospital for 2 more days. My family came down, Eric's family came down and saw the babies and everything. Went to the NICU like every day. We stayed in like until it closed, which for us, if you had a baby at that hospital and they were in the NICU, you could have stayed for 24 hours. Like it was just open to you and your spouse for 24 hours. And I like that. That was very, very helpful. It kept me knowing that everything is fine. They're getting, fed and they're doing good. So after the last day in the hospital, I kissed them and everything, telling, mommy's gonna be back and stay strong and I'm gonna miss you. And I'm gonna be up here every single day like I was. Checking up on you, make sure everything's fine. So when I got home from the hospital after I left them, it was like 9 o'clock at night. I went through a lot of postpartum depression with my twins than I did with my son. I cried a couple weeks because I just was thinking to myself, like, it's my fault. It was my fault they came early. I should have did this. I should have did that. And all this stuff, running through my head. And every time I would go to the NICU, I would just sit there and just talk with them, pray that, and just say, I can't wait till you come home. Your brother can't wait till you come home and everything. So it was a little emotional for me. I just didn't know, what to do because they were in the NICU and I was like home. And so that was a very, very tragic time for me. That's the first time I experienced that. The NICU nurses was very helpful. In the NICU, they had cameras up above the box. I forgot the box they were in. So first they was in like a box that has oxygen, air, and everything flowing to it. And so after they graduate, they get out of the box and go to a regular, bassinet. A regular bassinet. And then they have to drink a certain amount of bottles to leave. They have to get the feeding tube out so they can leave to go home. So after they accomplished all that, they took all their bottles and everything. So they was in the NICU for like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Emma came home first. She had all her bottles. She kept her body temperature and everything to, a certain standard and everything. So that was good. But I was still sad because, I wanted both of them to come home at the same time. But Ella, she had to stay a little longer because she couldn't keep her body temperature. So I went up there like every day still, with the baby. I went up there by myself and Emma was home with my husband because I didn't want to take her out or anything. But I did take her out one time to go to the doctor. So they did go to the doctor separate instead of together. After you have the baby, you go to the doctor, get their first checkup and everything. So Emma did go. Both of them did go by themselves. But I still will go down there to the hospital and check up on Ella all the time, every day. I started out breastfeeding the girls, and then I took these lactation cookies, like chocolate chip cookies, and I shouldn't have took those. That was my first time taking it, and then it stopped my milk production. So I was like, dang, I was doing good. But then I realized to myself, and I just thought to myself, like, no, you need the formula feed because you're gonna go back to work. You're gonna go back to work. They're gonna be with their dad. So, you need the formula feed. So I think the best bet for me was to formula feed the girls. So that's what I did. So Emma came home first, like I said, and then Ella came home a week after. Both of the girls was home. I was very excited. And then we just had an awesome time learning and figuring out who likes what, and you know, baby talk, reading books. Their brother was excited to read books and do his homework with the girls and everything. So it was a great pregnancy, great delivery. I can say the doctors at the hospital were excuse me, I can't talk today. The doctors at the hospital was very helpful. I'm happy that I didn't have it on the military installation, that I went someplace else, because I heard a couple bad things about the military doctors and everything. But hey, I'm not the one to judge, but I really like the civilian hospital and nurses. They're very helpful. Doctors are very helpful. They actually, through the process as I was delivering, they actually was talking me through it, how to breathe, when to push, as usual. Like certain things to keep you calm. They just, hey, the babies are doing good, everything is fine, the babies are breathing, you know, the babies are doing this and that. I enjoyed the NICU nurses as well, because they kept me informed. I can watch the baby from home on the TV because they had cameras and everything. They kept me updated. So I can say the twin pregnancy was very good. Like I said, me and my husband planned to have more kids, and luckily we came out with two beautiful girls. So that was awesome. So I enjoyed it. I can say if I have another set of twins, hopefully there'll be boys. But if there be girls, that's awesome too. Any pregnancy is awesome. Anything you have, boy or girl, it's a blessing. But I had an awesome pregnancy. Both of my pregnancies were good. Everything was normal. I'm thankful and blessed that everything went fine. So that was my little story time as I, fold this laundry up. I'm almost done, really, because I only have socks. But I just wanted to tell you guys that, and tell you my experience with my twins, because I know everybody has different experiences and different things that happen, and they want to let you guys know. So if you went through it and you want to share your story of your twins and how everything went, that's awesome. So you guys, I'm gonna put all these clothes up, and I will see you in the next video. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.